Hi, thank you for tuning in to my first video on the regressive right. Today I will be studying Pat Robertson. This guy is like shooting a fish in a barrel. He is very easy to pick apart. Now, in advance, I would like to apologize for the transitions here. I haven't learned editing yet. And in the future, my videos on the regressive right, I've been studying editing, will be much better than this. So please bear with me and let's have some fun. So Pat Robertson has been on the air for 38 years on a Christian broadcasting network with his 700 Club show. In any given day, there are 500,000 people who watch his show. And it's beamed, that's 500,000 in the United States. It's actually beamed all over the world. It's in the Middle East. It's in the Philippines. It's in Asia. It's all over the place. It's just very widespread, his show. And, you know, maybe this is why the world doesn't take us serious. Here's a video. Watch.
Long trains full of armored vehicles, personnel with armor. What are they for? The Army going into battle against the enemy. They're used by Homeland Security against us. Ronald said the most fearful statement in the English language is, "I'm from the government. I'm here to help you."
Oh boy, I totally agree.
Imagine what Homeland Security is doing. It's just awful. But we're going to talk about how much ammunition they're stockpiling. Who are they going to shoot? Us?
Okay, the historian Richard Hofstadter wrote about the paranoid style of American politics and anti-intellectualism in American politics as well. And Pat Robertson is a very good example of that. That there where he talked about, you know, Homeland Security rounding us up, that is similar to Glenn Beck talking about FEMA camps. Glenn Beck talking even after FEMA camps about internment camps. Obama's going to round people up who disagree with him. And, you know, I'll do a video on Glenn Beck someday, but this quote right here, we're going to look at some memes here, and I'm going to give some background to these memes that make them more enjoyable. This meme right here is an example of what The Daily Show calls white ISIS. He criticized the Middle East for enforcing Islamic rule, Sharia law, but he criticizes America for not enforcing Christian rule. And this is basically what these guys want. They want a theocracy. They want to impose Mosaic law on us. It's insane. You know, they want a government that's Christian government, and it's really shouldn't even be up for debate. There are so many quotes by the founding fathers that say that this is not a Christian nation, especially in George Washington's treaty with one of them, Libya, I believe. Sorry. Well, let's look at the next one. Alright, Pat Robertson is not a fan of feminism. The feminist is not about equal rights for women. It's about a socialist, anti-family political movement that encourages women to leave their husbands, kill their children, practice witchcraft, destroy capitalism, and become lesbians. What can I say? If you want to know, I think people that are anti-feminist today should look into the history of anti-feminism. Phyllis Schlafly, about people who oppose feminism, you know, at least as far back as the 1970s. And that transition into the next one. If your husband picks up around the house, the wife owes him. And Kevin Logan was talking about how until just a couple years ago, there were some laws on the books in some states where a man actually could like legally rape his wife if she didn't have sex with him. It's crazy. But look at this. I don't know much about feminism. I don't know much about the patriarchy or if it even exists. But I believe there are remnants of the patriarchy still around. And this guy is the best example of that. Okay, Pat doesn't like gay people either. This is a funny story. You would have to really ask someone to get some background to understand this. The gay age ring. Okay, let's look at his quote. Like they do in San Francisco, some of the gay community, they want to get people. So if they've got the stuff, HIV, they'll have a ring. You shake hands, and the ring's got a little thing that you cut your finger. Yeah, he was talking about gay men wearing rings on their finger, and they would give you AIDS by shaking your hand and cutting you with their butt. I saw this video, and the woman that's with him looks at him like he has 3 heads. She's like, she's just trying to placate him. It's really funny. Okay, and here's another one. Robertson actually thinks that God controls the weather. It's very Old Testament. Here the meme says, natural disasters like Hurricane Trina are caused by the gays. Not a word about Oklahoma. And the context for this is Katrina hit Haiti and Louisiana. And all these politicians and stuff, and I think Bush came out and said that it was they were punishing them. God was punishing the gays because of what they did. But you know, they didn't criticize other states, you know, and say that it was God's fault. This next meme, it transitions fairly nicely there. Raises millions of dollars to help Haiti. Spends it on helicopters for his diamond mines instead. Actually, most of that money was raised for Rwanda. And his diamond mines are in Rwanda. And he diverted the funds for the diamond mines, for his charity to help these people with medicine and stuff like that into his own pockets, into helicopters and things like that to fund his diamond mine. This guy's got jets, you know. He's a billionaire many times over. So he's just crazy, and that also transitions into a funny one. Okay, this is about Haiti. And they got together and swore a pact to the devil. We will serve you if you will get us free from the French. And so I said, okay, it's a deal. It's Satan. This is a comic, but it's actually Pat turning into Satan. It's kind of funny. But Pat actually said this. He didn't turn into Satan. I shouldn't have to say that. But Pat said that the Haitians cut a deal with the devil to free them from slavery that the French had them in. How crazy is that? The Haitians cut a deal with Satan. Wow. Unbelievable. Last meme is of Pat looking into the TV, or looking out of the TV, at this Muslim man. And of course Pat was probably crazy at the time, and the Muslims like, all Christians must be held accountable for this guy. And isn't that what some of us do here in the West? We say that all Muslims must be held accountable for really crazy ones. I mean, listen, there are some terrible things in Islam. I was just talking about this the other day in my one video. How in Iran, a man got into a fight and poked in he hit a guy, and the guy's eye was destroyed, and he lost his eye. And so the government of Iran is going to take his eye out. And I think that's disgusting. I think there are a lot of disgusting things in the Islamic world. But we also should look at the good things too once in a while. I see some videos sometimes of Muslims being very good to each other. Listen, I used to hate Christianity for the longest time. I used to have a big grudge against it. I used to only look at the bad. And then I tried to get religious again, and like I'm not really into it, but as an adult, I made peace with Christianity, and I looked for the good in Christianity, and I worked very hard to make peace with Christianity and see good in it. And I didn't think much about Islam. I didn't really care what Islam was up to, you know. I had come to peace with Christianity and saw good and bad in them. And I kind of wish that people would learn that nuance and ambiguity today with Islam. And even people who purely hate all forms of Christianity, I ask you to look at the good and the bad. But here we have Pat Robertson. He's part of the regressive right. He sets us back. He's one of these go back to the good old days of 1950. The 1950s, the good old days, when black people couldn't move into your neighborhood, they had to drink at different water fountains, and women were in the home all the time. And yes, there were a lot less women in the workforce back then. 60% of women are in the workforce now. It was 30% in the 1950s. And there weren't all these women doctors and lawyers running around. And how many women presidents have we had? Yeah. Maybe. I'm not a feminist, but I can sympathize with a lot of feminists. So thanks for watching. I'll make another video. Hopefully Spruce edit this one, the bad parts out. Have a good day. Comment, subscribe.